Okay, we're on to prepositions or preposizioni. That means we are on the top third of our grammar pyramid. So we only have two more modules after this. So that means that we're doing good. You are doing fantastic. And you have made it this far all the way through Unit 2. So just a little bit further before onto Unit 3. And that's fantastic. You're doing great. Okay, prepositions. What is a preposition? A preposition, or una preposizione, is basically a tiny word that comes before, okay, we have pre, meaning before, a noun to show the relationship, position, okay, preposition, to someone or something else. For example, the book is on the table, okay, so the book in relationship to the table, the book is physically on the table. Okay, I'm going to the store. Okay, so this is in relation to where I'm going in relation to the store. I'm going to the store. And she is at school. Okay, that's her position in terms of where she is. She is at school. Okay, how many prepositions are there in Italian? There are 9 basic prepositions. However, many adverbs can also be used in place of or together with these basic prepositions. Okay, so this category can be much bigger if you include all the adverbs and other things that can be used also to describe the position to someone or something else. Okay, so the basic prepositions are a, meaning at or to, di, meaning of or from, da, meaning from, by, or since, depending on context, in, which is in or into, and then we have per, which means for, con, which is with, su, which is on or about, and tra or fra, which means between or among. These are interchangeable. Okay, so whichever one you feel like using, tra or fra. Note, di is often used to show possession. Okay, so we don't have apostrophe S in Italian like we do in English to show possession. So in English, we'd say, this is Paola's phone number. But in Italian, we would say, questo è il numero di Paola. Okay, so di Paola is the same as saying Paola's phone number. Da is often used to say where someone lives or works. Okay, so you can say, are you going to Louisa's house afterwards? And you would say in Italian, vai da Luisa dopo. Okay, so da Luisa just means Louisa's house, like where she lives. So da Luisa, of Louisa. You can also use it to show a workplace. So, are you going to the dentist's office tomorrow? You can say, vai dal dentista domani. Okay, so da plus la, dal dentista domani just means to the dentist's office tomorrow. Okay, combined prepositions. Do you need to use an article between the preposition and the noun? Generally, yes. So definite articles are placed right before the noun being described. When prepositions are used along with definite articles, they're often combined into one word. For example, il libro è sulla tavola. Okay, so we combine su, on, with la, the, table. Okay, so the book is on the table. We'd say è sulla tavola. Io vado al negozio. I'm going to the store. So we combine a and il to form al. So al negozio. Or lei è nella cucina. She is in the kitchen. So we combine in and la to form nella. And don't worry, I have a table to explain what they look like when they're combined. Okay, so how many combined prepositions are there? These are the most common combined prepositions plus definite articles. Okay, here's the table. So, just to note, per, con, tra, and fra are usually kept separate when used with definite articles. Okay, so they're not even in this table here, so don't worry about them. You just keep them separate. But all of these you do combine with the definite articles. Okay, so when you combine a and il, you get al. When you combine a with la, you get alla. You just add another L here. A plus E is I. Okay, I. A plus le is alle. Again, you add another L. A plus li is ali. A plus L apostrophe is al. Again, you add another L. And then a plus lo is allo. Okay, add another L. Okay, now with D, you do the exact same thing all the way down. So we have del, della, dei, delle, degli, del, and dello. Da, we have dal, dalla, dai, dalle, dagli, dal, and dallo. In, so in we add an E, okay, we basically change the order of in to NE, and then we add on our endings here. Okay, so we have nel, nella, nei, nelle, negli, nel, and nello. And finally, we have su. So we have sul, sulla, soi, sulle, sugli, sul, and sullo. Okay, I know it looks like a lot, but you will get used to using them. So study this chart a bit first, and then you'll become more familiar when you hear them and when you see them, and then eventually will become much easier to use them. Okay. Interrogative prepositions. What is an interrogative preposition? So an interrogative preposition, una preposizione interrogativa, is a preposition used to ask a question. Okay, if you recall from English grammar, an interrogative sentence means a question sentence. Okay, so the preposition is placed before the question word since Italian questions do not end with prepositions like we commonly use in English. What are some common ways to ask questions using interrogative prepositions? Okay, so we have a chi is to whom, con chi, with whom, okay, with whom, di chi, I'll just say whose, but it's literally of whom, okay, di of whom, and per chi, for whom, okay, per, for whom, chi. For example, a chi scrivi la lettera? Who are you writing the letter to? You're literally saying, to whom are you writing the letter? Okay, so as you can see, in English, we end with the preposition. Okay, we start with the question word and you end with the preposition. But in Italian, you can't do that. So you have to get used to putting the preposition at the beginning if you're going to use it as an interrogative preposition. Okay, so put it at the beginning of your sentence. So, a chi scrivi la lettera? Con chi vai alla cinema? Who are you going to the movies with? Okay, and again, in English, we end with the preposition, but in Italian, we start with the preposition. So, with whom? Con chi are you going to the movies? And then we have di chi sono queste scarpe? Whose shoes are these? Or literally, of whom are these shoes? Okay, of whom are these shoes? Sono queste scarpe. Okay, so so that's how you would ask a question in Italian rather than just raising your voice at the end of a declarative sentence. You can use these interrogative prepositions to begin the sentence with them. Okay, if you're going to be asking these types of questions here. Okay. How to use prepositions in a sentence. Okay, so in English, you could say, I read the book, or I read the book on the table. Okay, I read the book on the table. So our preposition is on, or we give an apple to the teacher. Okay, our preposition being to. In Italian, we do almost exactly the same thing. The only difference here is that we combined the preposition with the definite article. Okay, so you'd have io leggo il libro sulla tavola. Okay, su plus la, sulla tavola. And then we give an apple to the teacher. Noi diamo una mela alla professoressa. So we combine a and la to make alla. Okay, pretty simple, right? Just have to memorize those combined prepositions in the table, okay? And then it'll become much easier. Okay, your first 20 prepositions to learn. So I will say them. I'll say it once, repeat after me. I'll say it a second time, repeat again, okay? So that you can get used to how they're pronounced. Okay, these are pretty simple though. So a is at or to. Con means with. Da. Okay, from, by, or since. Di. Of or from. In or into. Per means for. Okay, and then we have su, which is on or about. And finally, tra or fra, which is between or among. And again, these are interchangeable. Okay, and then we have what we call improper prepositions, which these are words, they can also serve as adverbs, verbs, or adjectives depending on the context. Okay, so you may see these next words here in the adverb, verb, or adjective lists as well. But I have them included here as prepositions because these are words that signify, like I said, the position of something in relation to something else. So I'm just going to go over these here. Okay, so contro, which is against. Davanti, which is in front of. Dentro, inside. Dietro, behind. Dopo, after. Durante, during. Fuori, outside. Lontano, far. Prima is before. Sopra, above. And sotto, below. Vicino, near. Okay, so many of these are often used together with basic prepositions. Okay, so for example, lontano da, which is far from, or prima di, so before something, so prima di. So as you can see, lontano is from this list and da is from that list. Prima, which is right here, and di up here. Okay, so a lot of times they do just combine them into little phrases like that. Okay, excellent. And there you have it. Okay, we're done with prepositions. Okay, we're on to quiz number 8, module 2.7, prepositions. There's only 5 questions, so I will go ahead and read each question aloud and the possible answers, and I'll pause for a moment to let you try and figure out what the right answer is before telling you what the correct answer is. Okay, but if you do need more time, just go ahead and pause the video. All right, let's get started. Number 1, vero o falso, true or false? A preposition generally comes after a noun to show its spatial relationship to someone or something else. Choose only one best answer. A, vero, or B, falso. Okay, so this one was falso. A preposition generally comes before a noun to show its spatial relationship to someone or something else. Number 2, which of the following is not a preposition? Choose only one best answer. A, da, B, per, C, di, D, in, or E, il. Okay, so the answer was E, il. Il is a definite article meaning the. It is not a preposition. The basic prepositions are a, di, da, in, per, con, su, tra, and fra. Number 3, how would you say you're going to Manuela's house for dinner tonight? Choose only one best answer. A, vado di Manuela per la cena stasera. B, vado da Manuela per la cena stasera. Or C, vado per Manuela per la cena stasera. Okay, so the correct answer was B. The preposition da is often used to say where someone lives or works. For example, vai da Luisa dopo lavoro means, are you going to Louisa's house after work? Number 4, choose the correct combined prepositions for this sentence. Io metto le chiavi blank tavola blank cucina, meaning I put the keys on the table in the kitchen. Choose only one best answer. Okay, so to fill in the blanks, we have A, sullo and nello, B, alla and della, C, sulla and nella, or D, alla and sul apostrofo. Okay, so the correct answer was C. Io metto le chiavi sulla tavola nella cucina. I put the keys on the table in the kitchen. Side note, keys is an irregular noun in Italian. Il chiave means the key, but le chiavi means the keys. Okay, and number 5. How would you say, who are you going to the concert with? Choose only one best answer. A, di chi vai al concerto? B, per chi vai al concerto? Or C, con chi vai al concerto? Okay, so the correct answer was C. Con chi vai al concerto literally means with whom are you going to the concert? In English, we would usually say, who are you going to the concert with? Putting the preposition at the end. In Italian, however, remember to put the interrogative preposition at the beginning. Okay, so how did you do? If there's any that you missed and you want to go back and retake the test, just rewatch the video. But if you are done and you want to just kind of read over the answers, I'm just going to scroll over them here, and you can just pause the video if there's any that you want to study or reread. All right, great job.